Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/Wisdom of the Sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Cana, New York, at Gaurangi Priya and Gopal Chandra's house. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast, with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Thursday. And we are preparing for Lord Jagannath's Rath Festival. A Rath is a gigantic post and beam cart.
Post and beam?
Post and beam, that's a thing.
You're so into that post and beam.
It's a
barn
thing. That's
stuff.
how they build the barns, man.
But doesn't that mean there's like no screws or nails?
There's no
something?
screws or nails.
But those carts aren't post and beam then.
They're not?
No.
They are.
Sorry.
The original ones
Are you still gonna come?
I'm not coming unless it's post and beam.
Or maybe in India, maybe
In
the original
India,
ones.
they're post and beam.
They're post and beam. Okay.
They're post and
That's
beam.
right.
And well, anyway, I think maybe they're not post and beam, but they're
We can look at-
gigantic
Mary,
carts.
can you look
okay?
into that post and beam
And
right
they're
there? after
motorized
carts?
by humans. And they're motorized by humans.
Pulled by
But
humans. Yeah.
we pull these carts. They're actually a little dangerous, truthfully. But
I tell you, Rogan, I almost in New York, I helped save a woman from getting dragged under that cart.
They say if you get killed by that cart, you're immediately liberated.
So they say. So maybe
So
I shouldn't have done it. But
So you might have done her a great misservice.
disservice. Yeah,
Disservice.
her sari got caught under the. They have wheel guards because they're about it. I don't know how tall they're like tall as a human or something, right? They're tall, and her sari got caught under the wheel, and it was moving real slow. It was just getting started, but it was somehow like pulling her. You know how sometimes it works like it was like kind of pulling her under.
Hmm.
And I just started yelling, and a few other people started yelling, "Stop, stop, stop!" And then we got her out. She was like almost like in a state of transcendental, like devotional shock or something like that. But
What if it was? What if it disrobed her? Like Draupadi,
well, then all the
like
more
Draupadi.
reason to stop it,
Oh,
right?
Lord Jagannath, I surrender.
Disrobed
The
her.
disrobing of. Oh, anyway, so come, perhaps you'll be disrobed by the cart. Awkward moments in Krishna consciousness. It happens.
So tell people what. Oh, by the way, so let's announce everything going on this weekend, okay? Because
We've
it
got a
all
lot of
starts
good stuff
tomorrow.
going on. And
Yeah. So
we're having our Wisdom of the Sages thing tomorrow.
people
So
can
we're
still
having
sign
the
up
show.
for
We're
it.
having the show tomorrow.
We're having the show tomorrow. Yeah. We're having
I'm
it Saturday
taking
too.
my posse, and we're driving down to the Bhakti Center.
Okay. So we got the show tomorrow. Then at noon, from noon until 3 tomorrow, there's a really special event going on, that the Bhakti Center is putting on. Free, open to the public. It's in Tompkins Square Park, under the tree where Srila Prabhupada began the Sankirtan movement in the Western world. Right? And this is where you and I are from too, right, Raghunath? This is where our devotional
Yeah, we used to
lives
hang
began.
out in this park just because it was grimy, and we liked grime.
But it was also very spiritual, although we didn't know it.
We didn't know. It was just secretly spiritual, because that's where our guru's guru, Srila Prabhupada, came, and he sat under a gigantic, I think it's an oak tree. I'm not positive. I'm going to find out.
It's a, I forget what kind of tree. It's an elm, I think. It's a holy elm.
It's an elm. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, he sat under this tree and chanted.
Yeah.
And so then
Still some film
whatever.
footage of it?
20 years later, we were under that tree, didn't even realize it, and now it's a holy
Now
place. The park is cleaned up too, so you don't have
Yeah,
to
not
go
that
through the
much. I
grind.
mean, it's not what it used to be, but it's it's still a little like it's not. Anyway, it is what it is. But you know who's going to be doing? So we're going to do kirtan there from noon until 3, and you know who's going to be leading kirtan?
Who?
Genevieve Harrison's going to be there.
What? She's got
Jai
100,000 followers.
is that how you size her up?
I do. I would have I respect a person according to their followers. Mara, how many followers do you have?
Ooh, not so many.
Okay, well, in any case, she's going to be there. Jai Jagannath's going to be there. I'm sure there'll be other people there. But if you want to hang out, you know, this is a great time. You know what I realized was our thing in LA last week, it was great. And during meals, we got a chance to kind of meet with people. But even still, like, even people that took it, I felt like, oh, I wanted to get to know these people better. So this is a scene. Can you make it down for that, Raghu? Come down a little
I
early?
can't make it for the kirtan.
You can make it for the kirtan, Raghu.
No, I can't.
Raghu, you can do it.
I'm bringing my kids and my
Bring the
daughter's gotta
kids.
work.
It's you always said it's kid friendly, right?
It's
kirtan.
super kid friendly. That's why they're coming for the weekend.
So Raghunath may or may not be there, but I'll be there.
Definitely won't be there.
He may
But
be.
I got better news for you.
What?
I'm
Better than
twisting John B. Harrison's arm
Yeah.
to come to our kirtan Friday night.
Okay. Because of her 100,000 followers, or just because you appreciate
She's
her kirtan?
bringing her 100,000 followers.
Okay. So that's awesome too, and that's rooftop, I believe, right? Rooftop at the Bhakti Center.
Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah. We got to talk.
Yes,
We got
that.
we got to work everything out. I think that should be rooftop. You know, I was thinking maybe we should do the show rooftop. You know, with like the New York skyline in the
Maybe I
background.
should sleep on the rooftop.
Oh, it's nice to sleep on a rooftop.
I'll do it.
Okay, so any case,
at the Bhakti Center.
12 till 3, there'll be kirtan in Tompkins Square Park. Now, also what we're doing is for people that are taking our retreat, and even people that aren't, Raghu and I, and Mara won't be there Friday. So she says all kind of like casual about the whole thing, kind of blasé. I may be there, maybe not. I'll come down maybe Saturday.
She's in a meatball marathon. Leave her alone.
Okay. So on Friday at 4:30 p.m., we're making reservations at Divya's Kitchen, which is right there at the Bhakti Center. That's at First Avenue between 1st and 2nd Street. So if you want to hang out with us, we'll try to see if they can make one of those big tables and everyone can hang out together, or at least put a bunch of tables together. They'll do something for us, depending on how many people come. But if you want to come and hang out with us and have dinner at Divya's Kitchen, top rated #1 Ayurvedic vegetarian. It's top 10 rated in New York for
Out of
all
all the
restaurants.
Ayurvedic restaurants in New York, it's like #1.
No, but but it's been rated in the top 10 of all restaurants in New
Of
York.
all restaurants, not just Ayurvedic restaurants.
Yeah, that's insane. And you know how many restaurants there are in New York?
40.
No, Robert, there's
Kidding,
many
there's
more.
lots.
And so if you want to do that, what you do is we'll reserve, for you. You write to wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com and just write reservation, or write Divya's. What do you think they should write, Mara? Divya's reservation?
Divya's. Yeah.
Divya's.
Write
Write
Divya's.
Divya's in the subject thing, and mention, that you want to come. And so then if you do that, let's say tomorrow's show ends at 9, get it to us by 10 tomorrow, and we'll reserve for you, and we'll all hang out together. That's Friday night. Then we'll have our retreat, right? Then Saturday is the actual parade itself. So if you're not part of the retreat, but you still want to come, they say that it begins at 45th Street and 5th Avenue, the parade. They say be there at 11, but it really starts at 12. They're just trying,
The old secret. Tell
Yeah.
these sillies to come an hour early.
Yeah. So it begins at 12 at 45th Street. I think like immediately at 12, like super sharp. It begins at 12 at 45th Street and 5th Avenue. And then you go walk down. It takes about, an hour and a half or so to get down to Washington Square Park. Then we're in Washington Square Park for the whole afternoon. Kirtan, music, food. And we're going to have a Wisdom of the Sages table out there. Look for the Wisdom of the Sages table, right, Rogo?
Yep. Very excited. All right. So anyway, there's a bunch of people from Zoom is going to be here. You'll get to meet Kathy Haggerty. Bhakti Louie will be there. Ariana Lindberg. Oh man.
David Charles Wilson.
Kelly Becker. You meet all these Zoomy famous Zoomers.
We should get the babies in there. Is it too early to bring the babies?
Just get him. Just get him there. Crawling around the table.
Oh, hey, I got another announcement, Raghunath.
Yes.
You know what today is?
No, I don't. Is it a
20th
holiday?
wedding anniversary over here.
Your 20th wedding anniversary?
Yeah, today's
Happy
Gita Priya.
anniversary, Prabhu.
Thank you, Gita
Love
Priya.
you guys. You're my favorite couple.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
No, you really are.
Yeah, but I have to give my thanks.
They've never, ever fight about anything,
We
ever.
don't.
And I kid you not. They don't.
We don't
They
fight.
don't. They never,
Because
I've never seen a
she's
couple
so
that doesn't
mild and good-natured, you know?
fight. And so are you.
Nah, I got my issues, but you know, really, I have to thank her, you know, for all of, you know, I was just
If you're
reading.
struggling in your marriage, do not compare your marriage to Kaustubha's. You'll always feel dwarfed.
We're not out to dwarf anyone, but I put up a little thing on Facebook, sharing my appreciation, and if you want to go there and share a little love for Gita Priya, if you share it there, I'll share it with her because she's not on social media. But you know, in Mahabharata, you know, the yaksha, when Yudhishthira being quizzed by yaksha, remember that?
Yep.
And if he doesn't answer these questions right, it's like he's gonna die, and all his brothers are gonna stay dead. And he's asked by the yaksha. The yaksha says, he says, "What is the friend bestowed upon man by the demigods?" And Yudhishthira's answer, he says, "The wife is such a friend." And Gita Priya has been such a friend to me for 20 years. So I thank her on this day.
Congratulations.
Happy anniversary.
Very impressed, Prabhu. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Well, any other announcements? Oh, we're going to Italy. That's
Oh,
happening.
yeah.
We're going to Italy. We're Wisdom of the Sages, Italy. If you're from Europe or
Anywhere.
anywhere, truthfully, you can be from anywhere. And we're keeping the prices very reasonable compared to some lavish Tuscany retreat. And we're about to announce it tomorrow. And there's limited spots, but I'm excited. It's not just going to be like me and Kaustubha doing our thing. Of course, we're gonna try to get Mara there. Of course, she's like, "Are they gonna ask me? Are they gonna ask me? I have to compete with real meatballs?" Yes, we want the vegan meatballs. But anyway, not only are we going to be there, but we're gonna do Italian things. We're gonna go to into Florence for a few days. We might go on a Vespa tour.
All right.
Vivi's working on it. Vivi's from Switzerland's organizing the whole
We
thing.
go to Olive Grove, maybe.
We can go to the Olive Garden. That's right. Gotta go to famous Ray's Pizza. No, but it's it's at an ashram, but a massive estate ashram.
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's called Villa Vrindavan. It was, I think, created by Machiavelli himself.
You think?
No, it was. He has an inscription on the building
All
because
right.
that whole area was owned by his family. I've been there
Okay.
many times, and it's incredible. And it's very close to Florence, which is, you know, was the cultural capital of all of Europe. And you know how cultured I am.
Yes.
And we might even take a day trip to Siena and go to the Saturnia hot springs. I'm
Oh.
working on all the
What about
add-ons.
Assisi? How far is that from there?
Cece's close. It's all up there. It's all.
Maybe we
you
could
know,
go to the catacombs.
Me lucky. Me lucky. Anyway, ever been to Italy, Mara?
Yeah, a while ago.
Oh, all right.
She's so blasé about
She's so
everything.
blasé.
Sorry.
Yeah, I've been to Italy. Deal.
Italy.
I'd love
Come
to
on.
go back. It's beautiful.
There's a lot of Italian others out there too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and
Lot of it.
yes. All right, so let's dive into the Srimad Bhagavatam. What do you say?
Okay, get a little closer to that mic, please. Or get the mic closer to you. You pull it towards you, Rogo. That's the way it works.
You know what? It's teetering on this table today.
Okay.
Raghu, while we're on announcements, there's a Bhakti recovery group meeting today at noon. And also you're doing another Sweet Baby Krishna tonight, right? At
Yep,
8:30?
Patreon members. This is a community-supported podcast, so Patreon members join up and hang out. We've been doing Sweet Baby Krishna Marathon. Maybe we'll do some Sweet Baby Krishna at the retreat, Kaustubha.
Why not?
This weekend, you know?
Okay.
We could go live with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when we're going to do it, though. Friday night and Saturday is the morning,
Figure
and
it
then
out.
it's the thing. I don't know if it fits in, but we can try.
There's always room for Sweet Baby.
It's true. We could make the whole thing Sweet Baby Krishna, quite frankly.
Man, I've been having lots of Krishna conscious dreams lately, too.
There you go. You see, it's all working.
Yeah.
Unless you're
Okay,
the dream.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye. Before starting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by regular attendance and by
Double
rendering
attendance.
service to the pure devotee, by doing double service. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated in loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established in the heart as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunvidatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers have opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances at their lotus feet.
Okay.
Okay, Kaustubha, tell us who we are and where we're going today.
We are in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are in chapter 12, which is entitled Creations. What is it? Creations of Brahma and the others? Creations of the Kumaras.
Creations
and the others.
Of the others.
And others. We like to say the others, but it's just others and others. And we were at text, let's see. We were reading along. Rudra had been born. He was crying.
Baby Shiva.
You know, Merrick? You could tell.
I think we left at text
11.
That's
11.
right. Yeah.
That's right. We were in the middle of the purport to
purport.
11 to the 11th verse. Why don't we just pick up in the middle of that purport? Does it sound good, Raghu?
Yeah, truthfully, we were telling the story of the anger of Ambarish. Do you remember?
Well, the anger towards Ambarish, right?
Towards Ambarish by Durvas.
Yeah, let's tell that story. So let's just set the context, though. We heard that Brahma, he gave birth to the four Kumars, and he was counting on them, kind of stepping up and becoming his, high level, good quality progenitors, right? Envisioning them bringing in lots of good people into the world. They decided not to follow that desire, that instruction, or that order from Brahma. They said, no, we're not going to do it. They did because they feared that, maybe we'll get too entangled in material life, and we're not interested in that. So they stayed in their little boy bodies and said no. And then that, then Brahma, exhibited some anger. He didn't want to do it in front of the kids, right? He didn't want to be angry in front of the kids. So he kind of kept it in, but it came out from between his eyes and manifesting in the birth of Rudra, or Lord Shiva. And so Brahma is the kind of like the deva in charge of Rajaguna, which is creative, but also, like we say, passionate, meaning that feeling of incompleteness, or I need something, to feel complete. So, and then Rudra or Shiva he's in charge of the mode of ignorance, which is destructive by nature, which has a lot to do with, closely related with anger. And he took birth. And so then that Rudra principle, or that principle of anger or destruction, you could say, destructive anger, I don't, something like that, a subtle blend of it. Yeah. This text 11 mentions the places where that resides, and it mentions the heart, the senses, the air of life, right? You start huffing and puffing when you get angry.
Sure.
The sky.
Can I share something?
About your latest huffing and puffing?
Yeah, I got really angry yesterday.
Oh no, what happened?
A long story, but I got angry, and I got angry. I lost it. I stormed out of the house, and guess what?
What happened?
Guess who called me? Guess who called me as I'm storming out of the house? I kid you not. As if you read my mind. Raghunath Swami called me.
Oh, he called me yesterday too, Raghu.
He called me.
He called me twice.
He called me longer combined than yours. We're always trying to outdo each other.
What did he say to you?
Oh my God, he was like the cooling rain on the forest fire of my anger.
There you go.
Oh my God, it was so beautiful. I was listening to him, but like typing notes exactly what he was saying. I was like, hold on, Mara, say it slower,
Slow down,
Maharaj.
slow
I'm
down.
trying to write this down. And I kept a whole page of notes.
Can you share something that you gained from that?
No,
or is it personal?
Sort of private.
Hmm?
You
Very
can back
private.
off now. You can back off now. Christopher. I've told
No,
you
we
enough.
wanted to know all the personal details. Most personal ones.
Keep it in. Suck it in. I'm not going there.
Okay. All right. So, huffing and puffing, it's in the air of life. It's in the sky. It's in the regular air. It's in fire. It's in water. It's in the earth, the sun, the moon. Yes, Raghunath, the moon cools you down and knocks you out if
I
you're not
agree.
careful.
I agree.
Okay, you're with that now.
Well, they don't practice yoga on the full moon, asanas.
You see, because you could
Because-
get frozen.
No, just because it's draining.
Yeah. Okay. Today's the eclipse right now. It just went by. You know about that?
Shit.
Raghunath, children on the show, please.
I'm sorry. My astrologer was warning me about today.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I think it's already gone.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you made it.
Sorry about that.
Okay, it's in the moon, and it's also in austerity, and that's a fact, right? Like when we get into spiritual life, and we're looking at it from like we're into practicing austerity as a spiritual practice. Sometimes those spiritual practitioners get angry, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, and one such practitioner who's like really into austerity and got a lot of power, but had a
Durvas
little.
Muni. He's a
Durvas
plenary
Muni.
portion of Lord Shiva. Can I tell the story? I think I got it down.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So we were telling this story yesterday that a very saintly king, and we tend to think that kings are, evil despots, authoritarians, cruel. But the whole Vedic
Tyrants.
culture speaks of these very saintly, dharmic, spiritually minded kings.
Hmm.
And they have dharma of kings, and there's a dharma of kings, just like there's a dharma of a musician, a dharma of a teacher. There's dharma of kings, and they had to be incredibly responsible. And so this one king was doing one of these purificatory processes of a fast. And during the fast, there's a small window at the end of the fast to break the fast to get the benefits. And it's all done with impeccable calculation in this
Impeccable.
small window. Impeccable. And so what happened was he was about to break the fast, and then this incarnation, basically, of Lord Shiva, who's known as Durvas Muni.
Partial incarnation, right? They're saying some.
Plenary incarnation.
Plenary?
Mary, please look up plenary.
But
I
is he
think it means-
plenary? I don't know.
He's a plenary.
Because plenary means like you've got all of the, like it's complete. It's like all of the power of Lord Shiva in there. I'm not sure if it's
Plenary.
plenary or partial.
Okay. Anyway, whether he's plenary or partial, he showed up. And he is known to be very easily angered and also gives great benedictions. If you can name one of the benedictions Durvas gave, write it on the board and you win a prize.
First one.
Okay. Not you, Kaustubha. And not you, Mara. That being said, and not you, Nanda Chandra, either. Okay.
And not you.
Not you, Paramananda. Okay. That being said, Durvas Muni showed up with all his disciples. And when someone comes to your house, you offer them a place to sit and you feed them. And you know what? He was like, man, how am I going to feed them? Because the host isn't allowed to eat until the guest eats. So he has to break the fast. Yes, he has to feed them. And Durvas said, hey, we're going to take bath. When I come back, you can feed us. And so he's like, I don't know what to do. If I break my fast, I'm going to offend them. And if I feed them, I won't be able to break my fast. What should I do? So he got all his ministers together, and he said, I don't know what to do. What should I do? It's a very awkward situation. I have to break my fast, but I have to take care of my guests.
The time was passing.
The time was passing quick. The window was
narrow window.
shutting. And so he said, all the ministers said, well,
Took
here's
the council, right? Everybody got together.
council. Yeah, and they said, well, here's what you can do. You can drink some water. Drinking water is like breaking the fast, but it's like not breaking the fast.
Perfect.
Great idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he said, all right, that's what I'll do. So they brought him a golden chalice. Is that what you say? A chalice?
A chalice?
Chalice. And he started to drink the water. And as he's drinking the water,
Goblet?
Goblet, Durvas was right behind him and said, aha, just see.
Oh, man, that
Just
must have been
see,
horrible.
indulgence. What kind of king are you setting What kind of, you're supposed to set the example for all your subjects, and here you are, a guest has come, and you're in this great type of indulgence right in front of me, in front of all my students. What a horrible example you are. And he's, of course, the king is with folded hands, feels all remorse for his horrible deed of drinking a little water, but he's taken full responsibility. Now, this is different in our age. We like to point the blame at everyone. He's taking full responsibility. Yes, I am indulging in this water.
I'm sorry.
How foolish and how unthoughtful of me, just for my spiritual benefit. I was doing this. Please, please forgive me. But sure enough, his anger, and this happened with anger. Anger goes out of control. It spirals. You start to become angry at things you didn't even realize what you're angry for. You start to pull up lists of things you've been angry for in the past. And it all comes out on this one person. And he got so angry. Fire manifested from his hands. Sort of like the Wizard of Oz when the witch made this ball and said, "Want to play ball, Scarecrow?" And threw that. He threw a fireball at Maharaj Ambarish. "Want to play ball, Maharaj?"
No,
and threw this.
No,
fireball
he took
right.
out some hair and and like this creature came out.
No.
Yes, brother. Yeah. No, you're thinking of the Sudarshan Chakra, which comes out later in this pastime, I think. Right?
No, I can't. No, well, the
Yeah,
Sudarshan
he pulled out
Chakra
a little
comes from
hair.
Lord Vishnu, and that Lord Vishnu. Anyway, we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
No, this is what happens. I'll tell you what happened. I know this for sure. He took out a little bit of hair, and he threw it down. And he created this fearsome being.
Someone's got to fact check this.
and then Vishnu sent the Sudarshan Chakra, cut down that being, and then the Sudarshan Chakra turned on Durvasa Muni and started chasing him. You don't believe me?
No, the
I'm gonna
Sudarshan
find it.
Chakra
Yeah.
started chasing him.
That's what I'm saying. The Sudarshan Chakra turned around after it took care of that being. Then it turned on Durvasa Muni and went after him.
Okay.
That work?
Okay.
That work for you? Just run with it. It's right.
We'll run with it anyway.
Okay.
The point is the same. Durvasa started running to all the demigods asking for help, and they're all like, we can't do anything. What can we do? And they kept on pushing up to higher demigods. And eventually they said, you got to go to Lord Vishnu. It's his Sudarshan Chakra.
That's right.
They went to Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu said, I'm not going to return this. I'm not going to retake back my chakra. It's going to cut off your head unless you go to the lotus feet of Ambarish Maharaj and beg for forgiveness.
Yeah.
So this is the idea. When we make offenses, the devotees don't take them. If I offend Kaustubha, if I just come over
That
his
would
house,
never
start
happen.
wrecking things, he gives me food, I throw it on the floor. If I knock over things at his house,
Throw it on the ground.
if I sleep on his couch and don't make the bed, he doesn't take offense. He's just going, "Oh, Raghunath, thank you for
Is
the
that how it
opportunity to
works?
serve. I make a mess. I leave toothpaste all over the sink." He'll just go, "Oh, Raghunath," and his wife, they're just cleaning up after me, thinking how nice it is that he gives us this opportunity to serve. He doesn't take offense. Lord Vishnu takes offense. Lord Vishnu takes offense when you offend the Vaishnavas,
Yeah.
especially if you're harboring dark, evil feelings to the Vaishnavas, to the great saints, the devotees who have offered their life to service of Vishnu. And you know what? Sometimes the Vaishnavas screw up. We're going to put that out there. Sometimes in the process of devotional service, we will screw up, That doesn't mean we should say, "Oh, look what they've done. Look what they've done. How bad they're doing this. They're organizing this big festival. They've screwed up. I would have done it this way." Once we start being critical, hypercritical of people trying to do service, that's a problem, because they're trying to offer their heart, even if they're not doing it good, even if they're not doing as good as you would. They're doing something, and Krishna is receiving their love. Even if it's not perfect, he's receiving their loving offering. And when we criticize them, it hurts Krishna. In the same way, if you criticize a child, it hurts the mother and father, right? If you're walking with your child in the store and or if you're in the plane with your child and the child starts crying, says, "Hey, shut your child up," somebody in the seat behind you. The parents get very offended.
Mm.
Don't yell at my child. In the same way, the devotees have become dear to Lord Vishnu. And then Vishnu takes offense if we offend the devotees. It's the number one way to ruin all your spiritual credit. Think of your spiritual credit like a slot machine we've invested in our spiritual life. It's like we're putting in all
Slot
these
machine.
coins.
Okay,
And
I
then
was thinking
one
you were going like
offense-
a creeper, but okay, slot machine.
slot machine. And then all your spiritual, imagine a slot machine over a toilet. And
Over
then
a
once you
toilet.
make an offense, you lose all the coins, go right into the toilet. This is a
Okay.
horrible analogy. Slot
that-
machines,
yeah.
toilets.
So mixed
This is just
metaphor.
coming out of me today.
Okay. Well, you know, the more traditional example that's used, right?
You mean that's not the traditional slot machines and toilets? That's not the
It
traditional
may
way?
become one. It may be a new one now. But is the delicate plants, you know, like a creeper, right? Like a you know, it's sprouting out of the ground. It's delicate. It's not like a big, strong tree or something. And then what are those offenses like? That's our devotion, right? It's like that creeper. Our spiritual life is like that delicate thing. And then the offenses are like? Baba?
An elephant attacking
Yeah,
a
mad
garden?
elephant. They say mad elephant.
A mad elephant.
Yeah, because when the elephant goes mad, it just destroys everything.
You know
Right.
what? A lot of these people on Zoom have never even seen an elephant go mad. But
I haven't. I've
have.
only heard about it. Really?
I have
Where?
on YouTube.
Okay.
Well, because I know that elephants get angry, that I've researched this type of stuff for my own joy.
what was it
And
like?
They sometimes they go insane. They throw cars. Radha Swami said he was in a place when they were throwing cars off the sides of the roads, and they
My God.
crush cars.
Yeah. So when they go mad, it's just like the most destructive thing you can picture, right?
Yeah.
So that's what offending Bhakti-yogis is like to your spiritual life. You want to hear some verses? This is really nice, Raghu. This is from that pastime when Durvasa Muni, he had been so disrespectful, outright cruel and mean
Yeah.
to the king Ambarish, who was just such a great soul, such a pure-hearted, simple, kind devotee.
Yeah.
So then you're right. You know, he went to Lord Brahma, he went to Lord Shiva, and both of them said, "We can't help you. You know, nothing we can do for you. Got to go see Lord Vishnu." But when they got to Lord Vishnu also said, "I can't help you. You know, I can't. There's nothing I can do." And the reason was, and this is what he says. You ready? Text. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto. Let's see. We're in Canto 9, Chapter 4, and beginning with text 62. He says, if I can find it, 1 second. Oh no, not text 62, is it? I think it is.
Come on.
I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. Text 63. This is what he says to Durvasa Muni's got like that burning Sudarshan chakra, that deadly fiery disc, like right on his back. And he's begging, "Help me, call it off. I'm sorry," you know? And this is what Vishnu says. He says, "I am completely under the control of my devotees." That's a really important statement, isn't it?
Mm.
It's like we don't want to serve because we don't want some big tyrant controller, but Vishnu feels like I'm under the control of, when someone has love for me, I'm under the control, right?
Mm.
He says, "Indeed, I'm not at all independent because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires. I sit only within the cores of their hearts," right? When the devotee becomes free of material desires, God is sitting right there in their heart. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. O best of the Brahmanas, without saintly persons for whom I am the only destination, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss or my supreme opulences. Since the pure devotees give up their homes, their wives, their children, their relatives, their riches, and even their lives, simply to serve me, without any desire for material improvement in this life or the next, how can I give up such devotees at any time? Right? And he goes on and on like this. You know, he's just saying like how love controls him. And he loves this king. And he offended that king. It's like, there's nothing I can do. You're going to have to go to that king and ask him, you know. Only then, only when I know that he feels like you haven't offended him, can I let you off the hook.
You know,
And-
this is also a great point
Yeah.
because we tend to think that the king, well, they have to be materialistic. They're kings. And this guy's walking around in a loincloth, like a sage with the long hair, long knotted
Durvasa is. you're saying.
Durvas.
Yeah.
Durvas. And so he must be spiritual. And the other guy, the king with all the jewelry in the kingdom,
Right.
etc., he must not be so spiritual.
Good
He's
point.
the most spiritual. He's the most spiritual king. So in Bhakti, we have that distinction. It's not just giving up stuff that makes you spiritually connected. It's what you do with your stuff. It's what you do with your stuff that makes you more spiritually connected, not your stuff or lack of stuff.
It's what you do with your stuff. Mara's
It's what
noting
you
that
do
down,
with your
right?
stuff,
I
right?
see her over there. She's like, okay, that's a takeaway.
She's like, all right, neck tattoo, do with your stuff.
That's a great point. Yeah, Durvasa, he seems stereotypically like the super advanced spiritualist. You know, he looks like one.
Yeah.
And Ambarish, he looks like the materialist. He's probably got a crown on his head, right? One of those crowns you're so excited about. right?
9 pointed crowns for the
Yeah.
9 planets.
Yeah, he's got a gold crown on probably, and robe, like special kind of, fancy king
Cape.
clothes.
They wear capes.
Capes. I don't know if
Yeah.
he had a cape or not, but
Scepters.
yeah, all kind of, accoutrements.
Yeah.
Royal
By the way,
accoutrements.
I want to make a point here. It's tricky because once I say that, oh, so you can have money, and you can be spiritual. Yes, you can, but you have more responsibility. Once you have more facility, you have more responsibility too.
Takeaway. Okay.
And we have to. The big thing is, and this is in the Gita. Once I do, when I'm trying to do it for my own personal ego aggrandizement, it's no longer bhakti. And that's going to happen whether you're a monk. You're going to notice I'm doing this for prestige. I'm doing this for distinction. I'm waking up very early to impress other people. And so all that stuff has to come out of the heart, whether we have a lot of money, no money, no matter what gender we are, no matter what our position in life is, no matter if we're the boss or if we're the worker, all this stuff is going to become purified from our heart, and we have to keep our eye on the prize. That pure bhakti is where we're going with all this stuff. And if you have stuff, you got to be careful, because you could just say, well, you could be spiritual and have stuff. Who are these renunciates like Durvas and these other brahmacharis? They're not as, I can give so much more. We got to be careful of that ego. It's going to sneak in wherever we are, whatever position we're in. The ego is just like waiting for us to trip up, to dominate. So we have to be on our toes, and we have to be in prayer at every minute. We have to be fearful of illusion. Our hands have to be folded. Oh, Krishna, protect me from Maya. I'm subject to Maya.
Okay, so you're saying care has to be taken on both ends.
Yeah, whether you have or whether you're a have-not, you got to be careful on both ends, because you can become arrogant. Arrogance there wherever we are, and arrogance is the real burden we deal with in this life. It's the real thing that actually makes us suffer.
Takeaway, arrogance.
Real thing.
That's the
that
real
makes
burden.
us suffer. It's the real Himalayan peak we must climb, not Everest. Arrogance.
Arrogance. Yeah. So it's not a stretch for us to understand that, having lots of material opulence can be, problematic for our spiritual development. We develop attachments, but also renunciation, right? And I think it was said here, austerity, that Rudra principle resides within austerity. So even the renounced, austere spiritualist, that Rudra principle, that anger may burn in them, their heart may harden, right?
Sure.
Okay.
That's the downside of austerities. There's some good things about austerities.
Yeah.
We should cut out things that are really, someone wrote me a really good question yesterday about eating meat. He loves the show, listens to the show all the day, but he said, my wife's a caterer, just it's like,
No
catering
competition.
company. More competition with Mara. He says, my wife's a caterer, and we grew up preparing meat, and that's what we do, and we're good at it. We're good at it, but can I be spiritual and still eat meat? And it's a good point. And you want to hear my answer?
Yeah.
My answer was that we're trying to develop this equal vision where I see plants the earth, animals, friends, people who like me, people who don't like me. We're trying to see everybody as a spirit soul.
Yeah.
So the problem is when I look at people or beings as things for my enjoyment, that depersonalization limits my able to connect with them. Like, for example, if you're a guy in high school that used women, or even out of high school, used women, what is using a woman? It means you're depersonalizing them and seeing them as an object and not a being with feelings. You've taken the spirit out of them. That's why lust is the beginning of misogyny. The same is true if I see that animal as a thing for my enjoyment. It becomes a thing for my enjoyment and not a being with a personality. Just like our pets have personalities. We give them a name. We comfort them. They lay on our lap. But the other thing is a depersonalized commodity. Once we start putting beings into commodities, you can still be spiritual, but that there'll be a very low ceiling of how far we can go. So I'm not saying you can't be spiritual and you can't listen to the show, and you can't chant, but it's only going to assist us on our spiritual trajectory and our spiritual path by starting to develop that vision and starting to back off and really want to and really have a strong desire to create that vision, to extend that personalism, perhaps you can call it, and empathy to all living beings.
To other species. I like that. So in other words, it's not just like it's evil, it's sinful, it's bad, don't do it.
No, it's not that, but truthfully, to stop eating meat is a tool for help. You know what? When I first became a vegetarian, I wanted to keep eating fish because I was a fisherman. Did you know that? I was a fisherman.
I've heard.
I was a fisherman. And so I went 1 year without eating meat except for fish. Because fishing to me was like going in the country, waking up early, swimming in a creek. To me, it was sort of like everything good. But after 1 year of conscious vegetarianism, except fish, I went back to fishing.
You tried it.
I tried it. And I tell you, to put the worm on the hook, I couldn't even do it. I had to dumb my intelligence down, and I did it, and I casted it, and I caught a fish, and the fish, the hook went through the mouth, and I was like, what the hell am I doing here? What kind of sick game am I playing here? And I just couldn't do it anymore. I ended it right there.
Wow.
That's my story.
Raghunath's story about compassion.
You don't want to even hurt a little worm, and worms are gross.
And so therefore, and this is the way we can understand that. In other words, through your spiritual practice, your heart got a little softer, got more compassionate. You weren't seeing that this is some inanimate object, this fish, and the worm, what to speak of the worm. But you're thinking, there's a soul in here, right?
Yeah.
Like me.
And you put a hook in a worm, and any fisher person's ever done this, any angler. Once you stick that little pokey in the worm, it's like, oh, help me. It's squirming for his very life. And then you start to see, that's me. I squirm. I suffer. I feel pain. Come on. Don't poke that little worm. How would you like to be poked? And the answer, I don't want to.
I think I squirm too. I think that's the tattoo for today, huh?
Yeah.
That's spiritual knowledge, right? It's just like, you're seeing that it experiences, right? Within, there's a conscious being that's actually feeling, and that's called spiritual knowledge. When you recognize
really
that wherever it is.
You really have to say, it's just a worm. It's just right? But couldn't somebody say that about me? It's just this dumb New York Italian guy, Raghunath. Just
hook him.
It's so easy to say it's just a blank.
Right.
Fill in the spiritual being and lower them into a thing. We do that all the time whenever there's some type of
cruelty.
Genocide going on. You have to reduce them to things. Rats. The Nazis did to the Jews. But
Right.
there's genocides going on all over the world. You have to reduce them to things that are less than animal.
Right.
Horrible. And what? So I'm doing it too. I have to get out of that. I don't like cockroaches. You live in New York, you learn to hate cockroaches. You know what? They just want to live. They just want to live
Let them just run all over the
all
apartment.
over your apartment, Kaustubha.
No, the key is you got to keep things really clean, then you don't get the cockroaches.
Yeah.
Ideally. But thank you for sharing that, Rogan. I think that was a really helpful answer, right? Because I think people are tired of having things just painted in a way like this is evil. You have to understand, how it's interfering with your spiritual development. And I think you got to the heart of it. Getting back to Lord Vishnu, right?
Getting
And
back
what he
to Lord
says.
Vishnu.
There's a couple more verses I wanted to read, and this is describing Vishnu's love for his devotees, and really, like, again, how he's controlled by them. And it has a lot to do with, like, we can understand spiritual practices, if I'm walking around all the time and God is within me, like as Paramatma, but I'm unconscious of him, he's present right here, but I'm walking around unconscious, then how spiritually conscious am I? Practically not at all,
Mm.
So developing that idea, but Krishna, he sits in the heart of the devotee in a special way, right? And so this talks of that. So in text 67, he says, my devotees who are always satisfied to be engaged in my loving service, they're not interested even in the 4 principles of liberation, although these are automatically achieved by their service. So their motive is only love. Even if you offer them all kind of things, they have no interest in it. That's bhakti. He says, what then is to be said of such perishable happiness as elevation to the higher planetary systems? They're not interested in material things. They're not even interested in liberation. And then this is the verse. This is a famous verse. Text 68 of chapter 4 of Canto 9. He says, I'll read the Sanskrit. Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam tvaham. Mad anya te janan, what is it? Mad anya te najanati naham tebyo managapi. He says, the pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anyone else but them. Boom. Right?
Let me give you a head bobble for that.
Yeah, that's if you want to understand bhakti, you have to look at verses like this and understand that it's not this, like, it's not like this submission is a submission of love, and it's a two-way street, right? And Lord Vishnu, or Krishna's, saying that not only does he appreciate, the love and the devotion shown to him, but actually he's controlled by it, and he has it, and it's going both ways. He's feeling it for the devotee. So then what happens, after that, Raghunath, to Ambarish and Durvasa?
He gets it. Who,
Durvasa?
Durvasa gets it, and he offers his respect to
He goes back.
and forgiveness to please forgive me to Ambarish. He said, I didn't understand your spiritual potency, etc. And of course, with folded hands, Ambarish Maharaj, he's the devotee. He takes no offense. I'm not offended at all. Why would I be offended? The devotee takes no offense. It's a powerful concept that whatever's going to happen to me, I'm not going to take offense. If you can add that to your life, you're going to skate through this life without. If you could take one piece of advice away from today, take no offense.
Take no
offense.
Okay.
Just own it. Take full responsibility for everything that happens to you. We walk around. We create these we become so thin-skinned we can't tolerate anything, and we're almost going out of our way to look to be offended and to be easily triggered. You know what? No one can hurt you unless you allow them to.
I'm looking at some of what happens is when Durvasa goes back to Ambarish, and he's still got that Sudarshan chakra, that fiery disc on his back. Ambarish just starts to offer prayers to the Sudarshan chakra. He glorifies it, right? Because it's the intimate
Weapon of Vishnu.
Servant of Vishnu, yeah. And then it just cools down and backs off. And then Durvasa is like, wow, I offended you, and you took absolutely no offense. He's so impressed. And then he says this. He says, for those who have achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of the pure devotees, what is impossible to do? And what is impossible to give up? Like even giving up anger, giving up resentment, all of these things, right? Giving up any feeling of being offended. He says, O king, overlooking my offenses. There you go, Raghu, right? Don't be offended. O king, overlooking my offenses, you have saved my life. Thus I am very much obliged to you because you are so merciful. Yeah, so that's the nature of the devotee, right?
Yeah, we had that. We said it once on the show that I can't remember. Like someone asked, "How do you not be offended by people who are very cruel and very rude and very, very obsessed with taking you down? How do you not be offended by them?" And he said, "Well, if someone gives you a hot coal,
The old hot
and you
coal,
choose not to take it, do you get burnt?"
Okay. Whereas if you take it, right, I gotcha.
Right? They can give you the hot coal, just don't take it. I'm not going to take it.
I'm not gonna take
And generally, it says more about them, isn't it? Doesn't it? The people that are trying to rip you down, it says more about them.
It does.
It means they're walking around with a lot of anger, a lot of hate in their mind.
Yeah.
We're training ourselves to be different. We're in a process. This is a process. I got a lot of work to do, by the way.
Me too.
All right, we got some takeaways, Mr. Kaustubha?
Well, I think Mara's got some.
I do. We have a lot of takeaways from today's show.
Saleli G is going crazy with the takeaway. She's hashtagging everything.
Yeah, I love it.
She must be. She must be the most advanced Zoomer out there. And by the way, if you want to join us on Zoom, all you got to do is email Mara. There's a secret way to get into this exclusive platinum group called the Zoom group, and you have to jump through many hoops but it all starts with emailing Mara at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. She will take a pint of your blood, and then it starts from there. Okay.
All right, some takeaways today. It's what you do with your stuff that makes you connected.
Ooh, me like it.
This one's a good one. Don't lose your spiritual credit in the slot machine of offenses.
Down the toilet.
Down the toilet.
Left the toilet part out. Arrogance makes us suffer.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
Animals are beings, not things for our enjoyment.
Good point.
I squirm too.
I squirm too.
I squirm too. Get that tattoo. I squirm too.
Don't take the hot coals.
Don't take it. Just don't take it.
Whatever happens to me, I take no offense.
Nice. Arrogance is the real burden. How's that?
Ooh.
Arrogance is the real burden.
More facility equals more responsibility. How about this? Lust is the beginning of misogyny.
I like that one.
All right. Well, let's crank it up then.
I didn't steal that from Aristotle. I came up with it myself. Raghunath. Lust is the beginning of misogyny. Raghunath. Wisdom of the sages. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. What a day. What a beautiful day for a beautiful day. Hopefully, we're going to looking forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. Sweet Baby Krishna tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Right, Mara? That's for our Patreon.
And remember,
join our Patreon party that we have on a regular basis. Workshops, Bhakti recovery group, Sweet Baby Krishnas, all types of stuff that me and Kaustubha do on the side. And just basically, even if you don't do any of that stuff, just to support what we're doing here.
If you want to hang out with us on Friday at Divya's Kitchen at 4:30 p.m., write to wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com and write Divya's in the subject thing. Right?
Yes. And then, of course, we'll see you this weekend. Mara will be there, too. Looking forward to signing autographs.
She may come down. She may not. Maybe for a while.
But we're looking forward to seeing everybody, all the Zoomies, all the others we haven't met yet. Super excited for this weekend. Hey, if you're in Atlanta and you're thinking about would you go to a Wisdom of the Sages retreat? Right, Mara? Let us know. because we're thinking about getting another Wisdom of the Sages retreat, and we're about to announce Italy mañana. So let's talk soon. In the meantime, let's sing and dance here with Gopal Chandra and Baby B and Gorangi.
Where are they?
Little Lucien.
We can't see them.
I'm turning the mic. I got to turn the computer.
Yeah, the mic went there. There they are. Oh. Are the blueberries coming out?
Yep.